Well, hello guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is your sim trainer. This is the next installment on the A320 tutorial series. In this video, we shall go over how to descend down from cruise using an SID or a standard, sorry, not an SID, a STAR, standard terminal arrival route, and later on landing using the instrument landing system, that is the world famous ILS. Like if you have further knowledge on it, this will be a Cat 1 ILS landing. That'll mean that no auto lands for today. We'll have to manually fly it after the decision height or the decision altitude. And other than that, currently we are around 100 miles south of our destination, that is New Delhi. We'll be continuing our flight from Mumbai to New Delhi, and I have brought us to 100 miles south of New Delhi, currently holding over a GPS fix called AVLEL, Alpha Victor Lima Echo Lima. Don't worry about the holding point. I'll make a separate video about how to hold. But other than that, let's begin with our descent preparations. So currently we are at 25,000 feet over AVLEL, and we can start with our descent preparation. For any descent preparation using the MCDU, we go through it's not an acronym, it's more of a shape. We call it top hat for the reason because the design looks like a top hat, if you have ever seen it, like a normal hat. So flight plan, RADNAV, program, performance, fuel prediction, and secondary flight plan. Okay, for that we'll always begin with flight plan. So currently we are on flight plan, and you can see we have the other waypoints. I have not put in anything regarding the STAR or the ILS, so we could do it together. So for the descent, you go to destination, VIDP, you click on this, then you go to arrivals, and as you already know, I'll be just using my Navigraph chart over here. And okay, there it is. So we'll be using today the ILS runway 28. Okay, don't confuse yourself between the initial and the final approach chart. Those are two different things. I'll explain them as we go. So for now, just keep in head that we'll be using the ILS runway 28, and no fixes in between, directly to the final final approach fix. Okay, so we can go here and we can further look for, we have to click downwards, and there it goes, ILS 28. Okay, so we press on this, and now we have to configure which star we'll be using, the standard terminal arrival route. So for today we'll be using the POSIG 6 Bravo. Okay, most likely this will this flight plan will be given to you by the dispatch, but let's say we're going to use POSIG 6 Bravo for today. So this is the POSIG 6 Bravo, and currently this is POSIG, as you can see, and we are currently south of POSIG. So this takes us all the way to the you can say the terminal area of Delhi Airport, Indira Gandhi International Airport, and you can see our star begins at POSIG, and you have to read this chart carefully, and this will in fact be your approach briefing as well. So from POSIG we go to SAPLO, and remember the constraints which I told you about last time, they do apply to the standard terminal arrival routes as well. So at SAPLO we can max be 250 and flight level 150. Then we go, and if you can see, you have to be a little closer than that, you can see now there are two routes. This is POSIX 6 Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta, and this is POSIX 6 Echo Foxtrot Golf and Hotel. We'll be using the Bravo one. So next point will be Delhi Papa 505 max speed 230 knots, and we have to be below flight level 100. Next comes FS Fox Sierra 711 max speed 190 knots, and we have to be above 3000 feet. From here, it's an anomaly because we'll be using the runway 28 for today. So it's basically a westerly flow. So we'll have to break off from here. Let's say even if there was ATC in use, he would have vectored us to the final approach to bring us closer to the airport and then capture the localizer and then descend down. So from here, we shall break away from the star and then start our vectors towards the final approach fix for runway 28. Okay, so what can we do? We can put in POSIG. Where did POSIG go? There it is, POSIG 6 Bravo. There it is, star. There's no transition. Approach via. We only have POSIG. We don't need any. This is actually for the if we want to arrive via the any point before the ILS approach. I'm sorry for that. Going back, that is done. Now, this is enter destination data. I'll show you why. So now what I expect you to do, I'm not going to do it completely because I don't want to waste time. I'll remove that. You have to again match the altitude and speed against your chart. 250, flight level 178. So it basically calculates the constraints. So these are all constraints with the magenta dot against them. So why does it say flight level 170 when at SAPLO we should be flight level 150? Because it says that flight level 150 you have to be above. You see this small line underneath it, it means you have to be above flight level 150. So basically the computer has calculated descent in such a way that you keep descending on a 3-degree glide path and you maintain the constraints as well. That's why you will be at flight level 170. So you have to do that with all the points. So once your flight plan is done, you are sure about it, then you go to RadNav. Now for the ILS approach, you have to make sure that the Indian Papa Lima Mike and the frequency, the course as well as the glide slope, it has to match with the final approach chart. Let's open it up. So there it is. So let's do it together only. Okay. So Delhi Indira Gandhi International Airport, chart 11-6 Papa, 5 April 2024. I hope it's current. ILS runway 28. So that's good. This is the approach frequency. Here it is. So India Papa Lima Mike 110.3. So India Papa Lima 3. So that is good. I'm sorry for that. Voila. So yeah, so we have confirmed the frequency and the what do you say? The frequency as well as the letters for the ILS localizer. Then we confirm the final approach course is 284. Our what do you say? This is Delhi 4.3 IPLM. This is basically a conformational altitude. ILS DA refer to minimums. Just a second. We'll see the minimums later. Our airport elevation is 778, runway elevation 778. The minimum sector altitude. So if we are under cloud cover, we do not know where to go. 2600 feet inside 25 nautical miles of the Delhi Papa November VOR. So this is you can see the plan view. you have to be at 284 course, and this will be the vertical profile. You can see it very carefully. I hope people watching this video know how to read the IFR chart. Other than that, we are a category C aircraft, so our minimums will be 1006. I'll show you where to put that as well. And RVR of 550, and not required for the localizer. And we have a 3-degree glide path, as I told you, for the descent path. And one thing people miss is to check out what will be our descent rate for a 3-degree glide path for 140 knot approach, because most likely we'll be roundabout at 140 knots only. 743. This is important because once you go visual with the runway, again, it's not an auto land. So you will have to know what is the correct, obviously you'll be looking at the poppy lights as well. You try to maintain 2 red, 2 white, but you still should know what is the standard rate of descent. That'll be around 743 feet. Okay. Other than that, there's nothing much to discuss on this. So let's make it clean again, because we'll require this once we are on approach. Let me wipe this out. Okay. And after this, you have done all this. The most important thing, again, people mostly miss. They say that good pilots try to know about how to land the aircraft. Excellent pilots discuss the missed approach procedure as well, to know what to do once you do not see the runway on the minimum altitude. So to discuss that, it's pretty much simple. Climb straight ahead, 2600, crossing Delta 50. That will be basically the distance, 5 nautical miles from Delhi, Papa November. Turn right on heading 345. You can see it here on the plan view. Right to 345, intercept the 316 Delhi Papa November radial. Thereafter climb to flight level 070. Join the SAM VOR, holding R as directed. So you can see over here, you come after turning right 345, you carry on to Sampla, and you start holding. The approved is inbound of 136 degrees and outbound of 316, flight level 070. That will be our missed approach procedure. I know, too much to take in, but once you get used to it, you'll know how to do it. So, RadNav is done. Progress. In progress, you want to put in the runway you will be using today. So you know what is the direct bearing as well as the distance. So this is the bearing and the direct distance. So we are around 113 miles, bearing 356. Okay. After progress is done, you come to performance. Okay. Currently we are on cruise. You go to next phase. This is the descent profile. This is the CI. Managed speed will be 313.74 Mach. And the descent phase will last for 41 nautical miles. As you can see over here, next phase. You remember there was enter destination data. This is it. So we have to put in, for the Airbus, you have to put in the destination data, because it calculates its performance based on this. So for today, I know the QNH, but I expect if a person is really flying or really wants to, let's say, infuse his experience, he would listen to the the ATIS. So for today, I know the QNH is 2962. Temperature is an issue. Oh yeah, temperature is, again, I have written down. I'm sorry you cannot see it, but if someone wants to check out how to do that, they should have Navigraph with them. I really implore you to use the Navigraph charts, because they're of great help. So currently Delhi is under low IFR conditions. I'm reading out the ATIS for you. 081130 Zulu, wind at 260 at 03. So wind is 260 /03 and runway 8 RVR is 2000 feet, runway 27 RVR 2000. I'm skipping over broken. Sorry, it's BR, that is rain, few clouds at 1500, broken at 2500, overcast at 8000, temperature 27, dew point 27. So we can expect some rain as well. 27. There you go. And for the barrow part, so this is where you insert the minimums. Barrow is only used when you're doing a manual landing, a Cat 1. Radio is also used along with it when it's a Cat 2 or a Cat 3 ABC, because then you have to feed in the barrow as well as the radio altimeter. So for our approach today, the minimum will be, category C will be 1006 feet. And yeah, so that is the height, 1006 feet. 1006 feet, that will be our barrow. Okay, so after that, performance is done. Fuel prediction, you just want to check how much extra time do you have. We have tons of fuel today, so nothing to worry. Secondary flight plan, you can just copy the active again, so no issues. That completes your top hat. Okay, once that is done, so you can see now we are traveling, this is POSIG. I can actually proceed and I will of course explain you how to descend onto the just a second, let me open this for you. Oh, what did I do? I can show you. So we'll be using the POSIG. So for now, what you can do, let's just say I fly one. Let's say we get an ATC message. I fly 116. Before I say that, I have to explain you one more thing. Damn, I forgot. So whenever you are doing a standard terminal arrival, okay, first of all, we should know why we use it. Either it basically lowers the workload of ATC because it's a pre-dictated route, and ATC doesn't have to keep on giving you vectors. It's a fixed path, and it streamlines the traffic as well. But more important than that, now there are two phraseologies used for a star. Either you can arrive via, or you can descend via. Okay, again, arrive via or descend via. So what is the difference? If an ATC says, I fly 115, you are cleared direct to POSIG, arrive via POSIG 6 Bravo. So that means just follow the navigational fixes. Basically, it means that you have to just follow the lateral path, not the vertical one. So POSIG, SAPLO, you do not descend till the time the ATC tells you. Again, you read Daily Papa 505, you still do not descend if ATC has said nothing. Less likely to happen, but sometimes it happens because there's sometimes some traffic below you or some other reason. But arrive via means you have to just follow the lateral path. Do not carry out the vertical path. Okay. Now let's say Delhi says I fly 115, clear direct to POSIG, or descend via POSIG 6 Bravo star. That means now you follow the lateral as well as the vertical path as well. So now POSIG, SAPLO, you have to be above 15,000 and then below 10,000 at Delhi Papa 505, and you carry on the normal procedure. Okay. So I won't be discussing the arrive via because that's pretty much self-explanatory. You just put in direct to the fix and it'll keep following the navigational line. I'm more interested in what happens if you have to actually descend with it. So what do? Let's just say I fly 115, clear direct to POSIG, descend via POSIG 6 Bravo. So we go direct, POSIG, and you have to, once you put in direct, you have to confirm that it is going there only. Okay, POSIG confirmed, and you push direct. Now you have to descend as well. So usually we use manage descent profile. So let's say we put in our next altitude will be Saplo, that'll be 15,000. So let's put in 15,000. Okay. Now, if I pull it, it will go in. Let's just see what happens if we push it. If we push it, if you remember from the last video, we'll go into test mode. So this basically means that we are in managed descent. Now, you see this green dot on the descent tape. That is basically showing you that computer has calculated that you should be at this altitude, but you're below the predetermined glide path. And how below you are? You go to progress, you see this thing, vertical deviation. You are below 477 feet for your descent. Okay, but don't worry, it will carry out a very shallow descent. Okay, in order to just make sure that you match up the descent path actually, because the reason why you are currently a little far away from your top of descent. Okay, so top of descent is after POSIG. So what we can do is, you know what, let's stop the let's just stop the descent, and let's just stay at, for now, at 24,000. So what I will do is, once we hit the top of descent, then only I will start descending. So let me just pause the video and I'll directly meet you when we are a little away from our top of descent. Okay, so welcome back to the video. Now, as you can see, we are crossing POSIG, and you can see in the flight plan, after POSIG, top of descent is just 11 nautical miles. So once you hit the top of descent, the green dot, which is not visible right now, will start moving towards, it will start descending. That means we will be on profile, which is computed by Airbus for a 3-degree angle that will descend us to the runway. Okay. Now, why do I advise you to use the already calculated? Because it helps you out. You do not have to make all those calculations in your head or using a calculator. So once you're close enough, the next point is top of descent. That will be top of descent, 9 nautical miles. So once you're like 3 nautical miles out, I want you to push it in. Push it in. Remember, push it in, managed, pull it out. Push it in is managed, and pull it out means selected. So you do not want to automatically go into an open descent. Okay, more to be explained on that later on, but let's focus for now on just on the managed descent mode. So again, we are just 5 nautical miles out. So once you're just 5, 4, let's wait for 3. Hold on, there it is, 3. You push it in. Oh, sorry. You go to 15,000 and then you push it in. Speed managed, heading managed, and altitude 15,000 is managed, and you have to read out the FMA, speed, des mode, nav. Now you see this green dot? It'll start moving with you. I'll show you how. Just a second. Progress. You're just 62 feet below. Now you're 18 feet below the vertical guidance that is pre-decided. Now you can see you are descending along with this. Okay, now let's just say I fly 115, stop descent at flight level 200. So again, if you remember, whatever you dial it in over here, that is the hard deck. It will not descend below. Okay, so thrust idle, des, nav. So at flight level 200, this will stop descent and the green dot will go below us. So the vertical deviation will say plus something something because we'll be above the descent path. But after that, I'll show you how to do the, what do you say, the open descent, because that mode helps you descend faster. Okay, and but again, you'll be below or above the, there it is, speed, alt star, nav. So blue box shows you that you will stop over here, but the green dot will keep on going. Okay, now let's just say I fly 115, clear to descend to 15,000 feet. So what do? You dial in 15,000. Okay, there it is. Again, you can go into the desk mode as well, but it will be slower and it will again try to capture. Okay, and this now says that if you have to gain the actual glide path, you are 1,000 feet above. So slowly it will increase the rate of descent, and it will increase the descent rate, and the speed will increase up to the limit it does not meet the red bar. Okay, so it is right now showing 2,500 feet per minute. The moment it hits green, it will slower, it will lower down the descent rate. Okay, now let's say I fly 115, descend to flight level 140 before after Saplo. So what do? You go, just a second, let me rotate it to 100,000. You go 14,000 and you pull it out. Now you're in open descent mode. Thrust idle, open descent, nav. What does this mean? It will not obey any kind of restrictions. Okay, it will just go down and it won't give anything about the restrictions. Okay, so let's for now just stay on the managed mode. So what is our next waypoint? Next waypoint is Delhi Papa 505 with a speed restriction of 230 below 10,000. So let's dial in 10,000 for now. Okay, so again it will low. For now, why is not a descent rate? It's trying to match the constraint speed. Remember, it's trying to go down to 250 knots, just trying to match that. After that, it'll start descending because speed is a priority and it says more drag. So what do? You pull out the spoilers a little. So what it'll do, it will increase the descent rate as well as it will reduce the speed. So you can match the green dot. Okay, so currently you are 1,070 feet above the calculated glide path. Okay, and for now, like we can actually put in the final altitude as well. That will be FS. Oh, I'm sorry, FS 711. We can put in 3,000 feet as our altitude, just to lower the burden on us, so that we do not have to keep on changing it. But again, this is the hard deck, but we are in managed mode. So it will obey all kind of restrictions that is put upon us. So still we are 430 feet, 410 feet. And for this part, always remember that once the spoilers are deployed, the pilot flying has to always keep his hand on the spoiler, because you do not want a situation where you have spoilers deployed and you forget. Okay, so we are coming up to the vertical glide path. We can slowly start retracting our speed lever. And we are still, yeah. And you can see us turning right. So what we can do after FS 117, we can go into heading mode. So we are still a little high, still wants a little drag. Okay, there it is. We'll keep on descending. And we have matched our glide path, so we can pull in the speed brakes now. Why do you want more drag? Because the next constraint says that we have to be at 230 knots after the Delhi Papa 505. Yeah, there it is. New magenta, that shows the constraint, so it will try to gain the speed before it crosses Delhi Papa 505. And we have to maintain 10,000 at Delhi Papa 505, so still in managed, thrust idle, des, nav. So once we have crossed 10,000 feet, we can do our below 10,000 feet flows. What are those? Landing lights on, seatbelt on. When you come down here, auto brake. Usually we use low depending on the surface of the runway. It's dry today, so we'll be using low. And the most important thing, always remember, if you're doing a ILS or a localizer only approach, you have to switch on these LS buttons. Why? Because they bring out these dots. This is basically the horizontal situation indicator, and this is the vertical situation indicator. So this will show you, you confirm it here, IPLM 110.30, that is the localizer frequency, that is confirmed. So that is done. So that basically completes your, and see, we forgot to put our hands on the speed brakes and it gives us a warning. Okay, so what do you have to do? You have to pull it in a little. Okay, and we can keep on descending and we can do our descent checklist. Remember, flows, checklist, then ATC clearance. Descent, there it is, approach checklist. ECAM status is checked, approach. There's the cabin crew, let's listen to her.
Hi Captain, the cabin is now secure for landing.
Thank you. And then we can focus on our checklist. ECAM status, checked. Approach type will be ILS 28, runway 28, checked. Minima 1006, checked. Approach phase, we do not have to approach phase activated. I'll show you what does that mean. And clear to it altitude, barrel ref, we are still above our transition altitude. Once we are below the transition altitude, it'll start flashing over here. We have to then put it in as 29.62, which is our QNH for today. And if you want to see what is the QNH for today, sorry, the transition altitude, it should always be mentioned somewhere here. Just let me check. Let's read it out. Altitude transition level is set by ATC. So even I have no clue on that. So let's just wait for the QNH, the barrel ref starting to flash. Once that's there, and we can start, what do you say, putting in the QNH, then we can check it as well. So you can read the FMA, speed, des, alt, blue, nav, baro, 1006, autopilot 1, 1 FD2 auto throttle is still engaged. Uh, about this approach, we'll be doing a decelerated approach. I'll make another lesson on this. Not a decelerated approach, we'll be doing a standard approach. There's a difference. I'll explain it to you later. So our configuration will be 2 nautical miles to the final descent point. Let me put out the ILS map now. Final approach. Why isn't it opening? Let's wait for it. It's a little clumsy today, I don't know why. Okay, so you know what, let's leave that. So, the kind of approach we'll be doing today is the standard approach. In that, whatever our descent point is, you can see 3 degrees, we should start descending from CI28. So when we are 2 miles from CI28, flaps 1, 1 mile from CI28, flaps 2, over CI28, gears down. And then when we go on to the glide, flaps 3, flap 4. Okay, that is the standard approach. The decelerated approach is something else. This is usually used in most of the airports because it increases the traffic speed towards the runway and helps everyone out in air traffic management. So let's just say now we're coming up to the point, so we can just say that and you can see that speed is coming down according to our needs, so it's pretty much helpful. Okay, and performance. Approach phase is already activated. Usually you press on here and when you're 15 nautical miles out, it automatically is activated. What does it do? It helps you in 2 things. Let's just say we have to break off from here. So I fly 115, turn right heading 090. Vectors for ILS 28, right? Vectors for 28. So let's just say we are turning 090. We are currently still in managed. So what do? We pull it out. We go selected. And you are currently in, yes, there it starts flashing. So we have to be in standard. I'm sorry, you don't have to be in standard. Just a second, guys. Standard, you have to push it in. There it is, QNH. And there it is, QNH. Okay, finally. Okay, so you know what, guys, for now I will just pause the sim a little. Okay, because I have to explain this. So what we're going to do once you're always on radar vectors, so you can see now there's a discontinuity. So CI28, and again you are flying outbound against the wishes of you can see the ATC. So what do I want you to do? I want you to queue the flight plan, sequence the flight plan. So what does that do? Is basically it extends the runway center line. Okay, so when you turn towards it, you can easily intercept it and fly it in. Otherwise, you'll have to go directly to CI28 at a certain angle that you might not be able to intercept the ILS. So always sequence the flight plan. How do we do that? You go to flight plan. Okay, let's say it is CI28. In order to sequence a flight plan, what do? We go direct. Okay, and you can see CI28. That is the initial descent point for our runway 28. You click on this and you put in a radial in. Radial in is 1003. There it is. So you see this extended center line. This will help you out to intercept the localizer. But again, the moment I hit direct insert, we will go in managed mode. So that mean it will start turning towards it. But our ATC has asked us to fly 0900. So what do? We again pull nav. Okay. So what do? I'll just unpause the sim just to show you. So the moment we hit this, we are flying. You have put it in. Direct this. See, it now starts turning. You have to pull it out. So we are in heading and we are armed. So now let's just descend to our altitude. So our platform altitude for today is 2600. So what we can do, I fly, just a second guys, I fly 115, descend to 2600. Okay, we go into open descent again, 2600. Okay, and let's just say he says I fly 115, turn left heading, turn left heading 0. Let's just say I fly, what should we be heading? And yeah, I'm so sorry, I even forgot to, oh god. You must be thinking, why are we so slow? Because the approach phase is activated. Okay, when the approach phase is activated, it automatically brings the speed down to flap 1 speed. So if you see on your placard, which is over here, VFE 1, we have to be at least 230 knots or below. It'll automatically bring you to the green dot and below that speed, so you can extend the flap. Once you're at flap 1, it'll again go down to flap 2 speed. It'll go down to 200, minus 10 will go down to 190 knots. So it'll keep on decreasing. So that's a good thing about Airbus, which I would say with a star hash. So it doesn't generate any controversy. It is not available in Boeing. You have to do it manually. So kudos to Airbus. So yeah. So yeah, not getting confused by that. I fly 115, turn left heading, let's say 310. You are cleared for ILS 28. So what do? You turn left heading 310. Okay. And as you're turning towards that heading, and once you're cleared for the approach, you have to press the approach button. So the PF calls arm approach, PM monitoring calls it arm approach. You see it as, and you read your FMA, thrust idle, open descent, alt, glide slope blue, heading, lock blue. So this is basically means that your localizer and your glide slope interception is active. Cat 3 is single, 2500. There comes our radio altimeter, and just a question. Let's just say it's a quiz. So guys, let's just make it a little towards 320, okay? So we can intercept the localizer easily. So pop quiz, at what altitude does the radio altimeter come alive? Okay. Anyone who answers it correctly will get a shout out from me on the next video, promise. So we are currently CI28. We are currently 7 plus 1, that will be 8 nautical miles out. And let's just wait for our interception. Once we intercept it, localizer will go green and you have to call. First lock star and then you say lock green. Okay. We were supposed to actually maintain 2600. We accidentally went down to 2500. I don't know why. So now you'll have to keep a little focused because things will happen pretty quickly from here. Okay, as we are close to our intersection, there it is, lock star. So now heading is of no use. we will start intercepting the localizer. There it comes in. As you can see, magenta moves in. It has to be centered. So we have captured the localizer, and we are still 5 miles from the top of descent. That is where we intercept lock. Okay, that is where we start descending. Okay, and it's a beautiful day. It's actually correctly visualized for an ILS. We won't be able to see the runway. So 3 miles out, flap 1, speed check, flap 1. Okay, and you go as flap 1, you can see the speed is reducing now automatically. So we can take out flaps 2 as well. Okay, and 2 nautical miles, flap 2, speed is checked, flap 2. Okay, and we are about to intercept. And guys, again, this is all by the autopilot. I'm not doing anything. So usually on an ILS, you wait for it to be established, then you take manual control. See, it is still on going on reducing speed. Just in case, I'm just saying, it has automatically selected our approach speed, as you can see over here, 135. Sometimes, and we are above. We just met our. Just a second. And yeah, sometimes it just says that I-fly 115, increase speed to 160, traffic behind. So what do? You pull speed and you dial it in, 160. But always remember, once you are established on the glide, you should again go into managed mode, because the auto thrust will take care of the lift. So let's have a look on beautiful Delhi today. Yeah, it is a little cloudy, very cloudy. Let's just have a look outside. Beautiful views. Never fails to astonish me. So, not getting blown away with it much. So, currently maintaining, we are speed, alt, glide slope blue, lock, cat 3 single. We're still waiting for us to intercept the glide slope. Okay, everything is checked. And always remember the flows. Once we go landing gears down, you have to bring in the nose light and the runway turn-off light on, and you have to arm the speed brakes. Okay, and you have to then go flap 3, flap 4, and you should be fully stabilized in landing configuration before 1000 feet. That is the stabilization criteria for the Airbus A320 glide slope star. So we are about to capture it. So remember, 1000 feet, you have to be fully stabilized. Otherwise, it's a dead on go around. Okay. And we have partially intercepted it, I would say, about to. And we are about to intercept it. Still glide slope star. Glide slope. And we have hit a glide slope. Landing gear down. Gear down. And you do the flows. Lights on. Speed brake armed. Put in, and the PF calls, said go around altitude. Go around altitude is 3000 feet. Maybe I'm wrong. Just let me check again. What is the go around altitude? Go around is 2600. I'm so sorry. So you have to set the go around altitude, because it won't fly now towards that. So descending. Now you have to go into managed speed. Managed speed. It'll reduce. Flap 3. Speed is checked. Flap 3. And flap full. Speed is checked. Flap full. Now you just wait to go visual. Once you go visual, you have to just keep the FDs within the box, because the FDs will guide you on the localizer as well as the and you have to do the landing checklist. Landing checklist. Cabin is ready. ACAM memo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. We are visual with the runway. You take manual controls. There it is. And we are slightly, and you remember 700 feet, this is where it works. Okay, slightly towards the right, coming in, and let's just try to make a normal landing. Your visual, 2 whites, 1 red. And after landing, you have the pilot monitoring has to watch out. Speed brakes have to be out, reversers should be green, and we should be in deceleration. I'm sorry guys for the shaky landing. Minimums continue. And we are land, read the FMA, land, and then you round up. Thrust idle, and you flare. Oh my god, we have ballooned. Wow, there it is, touchdown, reverse, and you have to read out. Speed brake, spoilers up, reverse green, decel. And once you're below 70 knots, thrust idle, and you have to remove the auto brakes by pressing on the brakes, otherwise you'll stop on the runway and you'll slowly turn away from the runway now. There it is. Let's roll out. And now we have exited the runway and you can stop now. So yeah guys, I put on the parking brakes. That is how you land A320 using the ILS and descending via the star. And for this video, this is pretty much it. Any comments, any suggestions, any subscriptions will be highly appreciated. It really helps to encourage me to make more videos like this for you. And on the next video, we shall see how to taxi back and shut down the aircraft successfully. So this is your sim trainer signing off. Take care. Have a great landing. Bye bye.